Episode 161. GPAI rules now apply.
The primitive forms of artificial intelligence we already have proved very useful.
AI is a golden opportunity.
How do we ensure that this technology is regulated?
The long arc of technological history is now in an extraordinary new phase.
The AI 6 podcast with Joanne Sweeney.
New rules now apply to general-purpose AI models, the very foundation of tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. Whether you're training, deploying, or just integrating these models, your legal obligations have just changed in Europe. The new rules came into place as of August 2nd, 2025. Hello and welcome back to AI 6, where I decode AI in just 6 minutes or less a day. Today's news is that the EU's new rules for general purpose AI, GPAI, are now in effect. If you're building or using foundational AI models in Europe, everything has just changed. So let's start by explaining what GPAI is. It stands for General Purpose AI. These are models trained on massive data sets, and they're capable of handling a wide range of tasks: language, vision, reasoning, and beyond. They're the foundations behind tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and open source models like Mistral or Llama. So, as of August 2nd, 2025, GPAI providers placing models on the EU market, or if they already have them in the EU market, must meet new legal obligations under the EU AI Act. The rules focus on 3 areas: transparency, copyright, and safety. On transparency, providers must disclose information about how the model was trained and designed. That includes publishing a public summary of training data sources using a standard EU template. On copyright compliance, any copyrighted content used in training must be properly documented. This opens the door for rights holders to make claims or demand compensation. On technical documentation, detailed records about model training, function and limitations are now mandatory. And finally, on systemic risk models. If your model exceeds the 1025 flop, that's the EU's risk threshold, you must notify the Commission and comply with additional safety and security rules. So what about older models? If your model was released before the 2nd of August 2025, you have a 2-year grace period to reach compliance, so until August 2027. But if you're launching something new now, you're immediately in scope. So who is affected? Well, 2 key groups. Providers who train and release GPAI models, regardless of whether they're based in the EU or not. And then what we call downstream developers, who build on top of those models. Even if you're not training your own models, you'll rely on compliance documentation from upstream providers. In terms of how to comply, you need to enter the GPAI Code of Practice. It's a voluntary framework co-developed with big tech players like Google, Microsoft, Amazon, OpenAI and Anthropic. And the code covers the 3 areas of transparency, copyright, safety and security. Signing the code doesn't eliminate your obligations, but it does offer legal clarity and reduce the compliance burden. The European Commission has also published templates and guidance, which I've linked in the blog post associated with this podcast, on how to complete the public training data summary and how to understand your scope. There are, of course, penalties for non-compliance. Each EU member state now has an authority responsible for enforcement, and penalties will apply for failing to disclose, for using copyrighted data without documentation, or for breaching systematic risk rules. So, to recap, new GPAI models must comply from August 2nd, just gone by. The deadline for models released after this is August 2nd, 2027. The EU, as we know, has some of the most stringent and compliance obligations around AI in the world. Their aim is to make AI more transparent, protect copyright holders, and ensure safety for models that could impact millions of people. If you listened to the last episode of AI 6 where we were talking about personal superintelligence, you will understand why transparency, safety, and copyright is important. So this is the first time that general purpose AI has been explicitly regulated at scale. The rules will shape how AI is trained, documented, and used right across the European Union and likely influence upcoming legislation. This is AI 6. I'm Joanne Sweeney. Thank you for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with the pro you know, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.